Hi, Deacon Charlie. I have 2 questions for Lent today. One is, how old do you have to be to start fasting?
Fasting, I think it is about 18, because you need to grow and you need to eat regularly, and so the church doesn't want to make it too hard on you. Okay?
And the second one is, why don't children have to give up something?
Why don't children have to give up something?
Yes.
I don't know that they're forbidden to give up something. Everybody can always lay down, give up something, and it's just to help you learn that when, somebody comes to suggest that you do something wrong, you could say, oh no, I'm not going to do that. Because you've practiced by saying no to yourself when you could have had something.
Ooh, okay.
Okay? That makes sense to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Deacon Charlie. These are my 2 questions. Is it important to fast?
For you, no. As we get older, yes. Because fasting is part of what we do during Lent, showing the Lord that we don't need food. We need Him. But fasting must always be compared with mercy and forgiveness. Without them, fasting is just a waste of time. And that comes from some of the earliest fathers of the church. Okay?
Do you have to give up something big for Lent?
No. But I think it is important. As I said before, as you get older, people are going to suggest to you that you do things that are wrong. Some of the kids in your neighborhood, or maybe even some of the kids here, are going to suggest to you, well, hey, let's go do this, or let's go break this window, or something like that, And it's hard to say no. And so what you're trying to do in Lent is kind of build up the ability to say no to yourself. To say, when there's a great piece of Snickers sitting there and you just say no. When you just say no, it's like if you want to be good in sports, you have to practice, don't you? So if you want to be good in living life, you have to practice. And that's what Lent is, the opportunity to practice, so that you can become the person who can say no when it's wrong or say yes when it's right. That make sense to you? Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Samuel. I'm just with everybody Pablo. And I wanted to know why do you have to be 14 years or older to abstain from eating meat on Fridays?
You don't have to be older than 14, but the church doesn't require it until you're 14. But we don't eat meat on Friday as a sign that we are contemplating on the crucifixion of the Lord. That He died on that day in that terrible, terrible death. And we want to always keep that in mind. And that will help us live a better Christian life.
Why do we have the color purple for Lent?
Because the color purple has long been associated with penance, with saying no to ourselves. When I like to watch TV and I say no. I like to play with the iPad and I say no.
Hello, my name is Michaela, and this is my little buddy Mei Ling. And so I wanted to ask you, why did the devil tempt Jesus into going to the desert?
Why did the devil
Tempt Jesus to go
yeah,
to the
no. He was driven there by the Holy Spirit. But the devil came and tempted him.
Can you imagine? You know, it says he was there for 40 days and 40 nights. That's the Bible way of saying he was there for a while. And he hadn't had anything to eat. And the devil said to him, you know, if you're the Son of God, you can turn these stones into loaves of bread and have something to eat because you're hungry. And Jesus would not do that. He said, man doesn't live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. And so he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't, even for his own sake, even to make his own tummy feel a little bit better. So that's why we celebrate Lent, so that we can be with Jesus in saying no to ourselves for the good of others. Okay?
Why do we get ashes?
Manny, a very good question. Why we use ashes? Thank you for it. You know, we're all going to die one of these days. Do you understand what death is? And when we die, first our skin kind of turns to ashes, dust, and then slowly, very slowly, those hard bones turn to dust. And so everything turns to dust. And you think, you know, that's what the church wants us to remember. That on our own, that's all we can do, is turn into dust. But we have Jesus Christ, who rose from the dead and who says, you and me are going to rise with him. And so when we rise, he puts that body together like it was never put together. Everything will be right, you know. No Dunlop disease, you know. no, our skin will be everything will be perfect. Everything will be just right. And we'll be with him for all eternity that way. But on our own, we're just a pile of dust. Okay? But we don't have to worry about that because Jesus took care of that.
What if we sin while we're in Lent? If we give up something and we do it anyways, would that be a sin?
No, because you know, it's nothing immoral. It's nothing wrong. But I think what we should do then is, when we have some quiet time, speak to God. Say, you know, I goofed today, and I'm sorry. Would you be with me so I could be a little stronger tomorrow? Give me your Holy Spirit so I can be a little bit better tomorrow. And I think that's the way you do it. You don't commit a sin, you know. And don't think that God is trying to accuse you and convict you of sin for everything. You know, just ask God for his help. And for the help, especially for the Holy Spirit to be with you so that you can do better next time. Okay?
Thank you.
Hi, Deacon. My name is Christina, and I'm in 8th grade. And I have a question for you. Why is Lent part of the Catholic faith? Like, why do we celebrate it?
The Catholic Church looked at the story of Jesus being driven by the Holy Spirit out into the desert 40 days and 40 nights. But as I said before, that's the way the Bible describes a while, you know. And so the church took those 40 days and said, we should be doing the same thing Jesus did. We would take those 40 days and we would make them a time of penance, of prayer, and of almsgiving, helping people who need help. And so we do those things every year. It's sort of like getting us back into the way we should be, trying to get us back. It's a time, as I said before, like do you play any sports? You practice and you practice and you practice. So this is what you have to do with your life. You have to practice. How is it I should live? Where I am prayerful, where I am giving alms, helping people, being merciful to them. And then that becomes the way we live our lives. And by living our lives in that fashion, we begin to look more and more like Christ, who we were baptized to look like. And so we become really true to our real self, the one that was born again by water and the Holy Spirit. And so this is a wonderful opportunity, and Lent isn't something that should be looked down on. It is a time of joyful coming back to who we are. Okay.